So it's time for a change. When something is a part of your life for so long, it is difficult to think of life without it. Change is inevitable, and you can't always pinpoint how it will happen. However, you have to be willing to make the necessary adjustments. It may seem scary or inconvenient, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. The notion of change is ambiguous, and therefore takes on different forms for different people. I have compiled a handful of tips and tricks that I think can be used to help you adapt to the change. Prepare. So change is on the horizon, and you are soon to meet it head on. Now is the time to start preparing. Assess the situation and figure out what tasks need to take priority in order to make this change as smooth as possible. I find it helps to transcribe how you plan to deal with things. It's easier to forget things that are all packed up in your head. For those unforeseen, sudden changes, take a moment to breathe and collect your thoughts. In these times, assessment and execution often happen at the same time, so pace yourself. Rationalize. Change is drawing closer and closer, often leaving us out of sorts. At this point, it is good to take some time to rationalize the situation. Think about all the positive ways this change can and might affect you. Once that is done, identify the possible negative ways the change may affect you. Over the course of a few months, I gave the idea of letting go of the company a thought. I found that it was best for me and my mental health at that point in my life. Should you find that the pros outweigh the con, continue forward. By chance, should the opposite be true, maybe it's time to stop and regroup. Mindfulness. On the road to change, nothing works harder than your mind. We spend so much time in our heads that it's easy to become mentally exhausted. Not just that, but fear and doubt can often hinder our progress. Do your best to purge your mind of these sickening feelings. I find it helps to detach and become more in tune with nature. Go for a walk, head to the beach and watch the waves, or just listen to the birds sing. There's a nice little spot not far from where I live, where I would go sit by the water. This simple act will become a much needed therapy for me. The point is to fill your mind with positive, edifying thoughts. A mind full of hope can withstand most things. Be kind to yourself. The hour of change is upon you, and you have done what you could to prepare. Understand that true acclimation takes time. I encourage you to be kind to yourself. Be patient and merciful. Simply give yourself room to be human. Try not to add needless pressure to a situation that already has you pressed. After letting go of the company, a part of me felt like a failure. I took some time to address that feeling and eventually came to the conclusion that all things must come to an end. I did not fail. It was simply time for a change. Remember, God will not put more on us than we can bear. Therefore, always remind yourself that you are capable, strong, resilient, and able to overcome that which lies before you. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. This season is new. This position is different. This journey is uncomfortable, and that's okay. For you see, this is your pressure period. The most priceless diamonds had to undergo much pressure, a period I would imagine to be uncomfortable. I want to encourage you to be comfortable being uncomfortable, which simply means take all the tips from above and be consistent in their usage and execution. It's been months now, and I'm still getting used to not having the company. However, I have new endeavors in the work. So until it's time for that, I will continue to be okay in this unfamiliar, uncomfortable space. The acclimation to change has no set timeline. Therefore, you may need to revisit one or more of these tips to help you. The you at the other end of this change will truly be a sight to behold. So in closing, tackling an amorphous concept like change is a unique task. Sometimes the change is big, sometimes not so much. A lot of times change is brief, other times it can last a while. However it presents itself, remember, prepare. Figure out how you will deal with this change. Rationalize. Take time to weigh the pros and cons. Mindfulness. Detach and fill your mind with hopeful and positive thoughts. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself as this change unfolds. Lastly, Be comfortable being uncomfortable. Things might be rough, but stick with it as you are a diamond in the rough, and you will shine soon enough. Go in good faith and be blessed. You got this.